Welcome back, everyone, to ESPN's continuous coverage of Italian football. This is the summer series, preseason football, if you will, with Juventus and Middlesbrough from Manuzzi Stadium in Cesena, Italy. A crowd of about 20,000 on hand to watch this one, along with Tommy Smith. I'm John Paul Della Camera. We will check out the starting lineups for the two teams today. And we'll start off with Juventus. Some familiar names, Tommy, including number 1, Peruzzi, and number 10, Del Piero.
And what about number 8, Zidane, the man who just came over from France? He's the man who probably will pick up the slack with Ravanelli gone. And this is a very experienced looking side. I mean, there's a lot of internationals there, JP. There's a lot of good players on this team. They may have lost a few, but they've certainly gained a few as well.
Zidane could get some help from Boxic up front as well. On the opposite side for Middlesbrough, their lineup is also star-studded. Number 6, Emerson, a huge transfer. Same with 11. Everybody knows Ravanelli.
Well, the coach feels that perhaps with the exception of Juninho, this is probably the best team that he can put out, and he has a couple of internationals here. Ravanelli, Alan Moore is an international for Ireland, a young man who has a bright future with Ireland, and of course Emerson and Branco, two mainstays from Brazil, different style players. This is a good-looking side.
Stick around, we'll have the action for you. Ravanelli with a nice bouquet of flowers. Both of these teams were busy in the transfer market during the off-season. Juventus is the team that will have the different look compared to what you've seen the past few years, especially up top, and you'll see why. Without Ravanelli and Vialli, they lose a lot of goals and a lot of leadership and character.
Yeah, well, they certainly brought in a good goal scorer in Zidane. I mean, the character that Vialli and the leadership that he exhibited when he was with Juventus was probably the most important thing. And, of course, he's playing now with Ruud Gullit at Chelsea. He'll be a great find for them. And, of course, Vieira should be a good player here. And Amoroso also, who has come from the same club as Del Piero came from. Del Piero started with Padovano, and now Amoroso has come there. And Ravanelli's getting a hero's welcome here, JP. Look at the flowers, the crowd.
And he hasn't scored a goal yet, at least not in regular season play. They're getting ready to start their Premier League season in just a short bit. There is Fabrizio Ravanelli. This team was not as busy during the off-season, but really they had their team picked last year, and they just wanted to fine-tune it, and that they did with Ravanelli and Emerson. But look at how much money they spent on just those two.
Well, when you consider that 10 years ago this club was broke, they wouldn't have been able to spend $11, never mind 11 million. And now they have come up in the last 2 years, they've spent $20 million to put a team together. Ravanelli is getting a staggering £42,000 sterling per week, which is close to $50,000. Incredible amount of money for a player like Ravanelli, and especially to go to Middlesbrough.
Well, all of England are spending money this year because Vialli went to Chelsea, but a lot of big television money now. That's where a lot of the big dollars are coming from, and may not be long before players like Del Piero and others end up in England. This is a big year for foreign players to come over to England.
Well, certainly the infusion of the pools money, which is the form of betting they have in England, where you pick so many teams on a particular day, and they have put hundreds of millions of pounds into it. And as you said, the television deal worth almost $11 million to each team in the Premiership. There's an incredible amount of money available in England to buy players.
A television deal is Ravanelli's contract, if you want to look at it that way. Time to post some pictures before this game takes place. A lot of atmosphere today in Cesena for this game. We'll see how the Italian fans treat Ravanelli. They've already given him a nice welcome back, but the game hasn't begun yet.
And of course, the coach of Juventus, Lippi, he had a great career here coaching at Cesena. He avoided relegation with them, but then he left on a sour note. He got fired. So, I mean, he's certainly well known in this area.
Peruzzi applauding the fans that have come out today to watch his side play. Juventus will be in the blue with the gold numbers, Middlesbrough in red. 2 is Ciro Ferrara. Still a lot of famous players on this Juventus side. They lost 2 big names, replaced them with a few big names of their own. Farina is your game referee. Stefano Farina. Ruffo and Rizzo will be the linesmen or referee assistants. We're just about set for the kickoff. Juventus over the ball. Fabrizio Ravanelli smiling for now. Great to be back home.
Oh, the Silver Fox. Don't let that grey hair mislead you, because he's a very, very young man still. Much younger than his face would suggest with that grey hairstyle.
And Farina blows the whistle. We are underway. Juventus takes the opening kickoff. They'll slide it all the way across 22 degrees Celsius. Our game conditions. Sunny day, field in good shape.
Well, you know, the question is, what do Juventus have to prove? They won the European Championship last year, and I mean, they got rid of 2 of the best players that they had. Are they going to try to make it 2 in a row? I mean, obviously with the money that's involved, and it's just a case of now trying to knit these players in to take the place of the players that are gone.
Emerson just got nailed early. 4 is Parini. He loses. 10 is Alan Moore, and he lost it as well.
Oh, Parini was the man who really got away from AC Milan. They gave him a free transfer, and look at the kind of a career he had. Of course, that was back in '89. Welcome to the game.
Boxic was brought down hard.
Oh, he certainly was, and Branco was the man, of course. He's capable of bringing anybody down hard.
Sergio Parini, 28-year-old, played it in. Jugovic is number 6. He gave it away. Ravanelli's first touch. He mishandled it. Ferrara, number 2, is back. 5 is Montero. Long distance clearance. Emerson can't get to it. Off the deflection, it's coming all the way back deep. Number 2 is Neil Cox, the right back, formerly with Aston Villa. This ball goes out. There is Zidane, who's right behind Emerson.
Well, you know, Cox is one of these players on this team that doesn't have a whole lot of experience. Most of them have reasonably good experience. He only played 26 games with Aston Villa. This is his 40th game with Middlesbrough, so obviously they feel that he's a great prospect.
Alan Miller, the goalkeeper from Middlesbrough, sends it long. It was cleared away by Jugovic, number 6. 9 is Boxic, and a foul is going to be called. Fabrizio Ravanelli, 117 goals in 10 years in Italy.
22 of them last year for Juventus. I mean, that kind of shows you the kind of, I mean, some of those goals were so important. I mean, he really can score in key situations.
Left side flag going up.
You mean he's going to change his way of going on? He's not going to talk to the referee. I mean, practically on every call we ever saw against him, he complains.
Pre-season, he figures.
He's giving the ref a break.
Yeah. That may not continue, though, for the rest of the game. We're in the 3rd minute. A break down the wing for Del Piero. One-on-one with Neil Cox. The cross inside, cleared away by number 10, Alan Moore. And it'll go out, but I believe there was a foul there on Juventus. There was.
A little bit coming in over the back. And I mean, we spoke about it earlier, JP. I mean, Del Piero, a man who is such a... He promises to be such a great star. But really, if you look at what happened in Euro 96, it was disappointing for Del Piero. It was disappointing for Italy. I'm sure he wants to just put all that behind him now and start anew.
Throw in coming up. Gianluca Pesotto, number 3, 26-year-old defender. Jugovic. Long ball. Oh, he had him open. Del Piero was free. Branco upended. Bounce back up. Boxic with a nice flick back. A foul from behind. That'll set up a dangerous free kick here for Juventus.
Well, that's Alan Moore, the man who's going to do the fouling. He's a man who is very much in Mick McCarthy's plans for the Irish international side. Played in the US Cup this year. A very, very good tournament.
Del Piero bends it inside the header. Great chance. Boxic coming forward.
Well, certainly picked the right time to come forward. Just timed it perfectly.
We're in the 5th minute. First half, it is scoreless. Juventus and Middlesbrough. Long kick up by the goalkeeper. And another foul call on Juventus. Nick Barmby played on the Euro 96 squad for England at the age of 22. Sends it to the right side. Neil Cox being pressured. Coming out of the back, Steve Vickers, number 4. Now that's busted up. Down the wing. Chino Ferrara took it away from Robbie Musto. And then a foul at the other end, Nick Barmby.
Nick Barmby coming in. You can see there's a lot of intensity in this game already. I mean, this is only a friendly, but these guys are really hitting.
We're in the 6th minute. First half, scoreless. Juventus in blue, Middlesbrough in red. From Manuzzi Stadium in Cesena, Italy. Here is Emerson. Down the left side. Ravanelli's pass, back for Emerson. And it's knocked out of play.
Well, you could see just a little miscommunication, and that will happen early. Emerson cut the wrong way. He thought that Ravanelli was going to give it back to him in the middle, but Ravanelli played it down along the wing.
And a whistle before all of that took place. This game is scoreless in the 6th minute. Juventus will have the ball.
Very showing there. You know, if you look at what has happened, if you look what the Brazilian situation has been around the world, most Brazilians, when they go someplace to play, it takes them a year, 2 years to settle. So that they're not going, Juninho and Branco should be well settled in at Middlesbrough this year.
Another foul on Juventus, Del Piero.
Well, you can see the ball coming in. Watch it squared across into the box, and watch what the number 3 player does. He's just going to let the ball run by him, and then he's going to turn around and take it out of there.
There's Del Piero, who scored 6 goals last year in the Champions League. Seemed to get tired towards the end, wasn't as much of a factor. And in Euro 96, started game 1, replaced at halftime, and that's when Italy, frankly, looked better when Donadoni came in and put his mark on that game. Straight ahead. Moore, and the flag went up. Ravanelli was looking to sneak through.
Oh, it's going to be a great experience for Alan Moore working with Ravanelli, and if you have Ravanelli to play the ball onto, I mean, that little pass there is going to come good eventually. Just a little bit of timing involved in it, and Ravanelli wasn't any more than a half a step offside.
I want to see how Juninho will work with Ravanelli and Emerson, in fact, when they all get together.
Well, the one good thing with Juninho is you're going to have Juninho operating on the left.
Nice pass from Del Piero off a deflection. And another whistle. Another flag up on Christian Vieri.
Actually, what I should have said, Ravanelli will probably be on the left and Juninho will be on the right. I mean, he uses his speed so well on that right-hand side. I mean, in one of the games, in the game against the World All-Stars that played at Giant Stadium, I mean, he should have burst the speed down the right-hand side of the field. I don't think I've ever seen a player go as quick with the ball on his foot as he did that day. So, I mean, that would be good for Ravanelli, because Ravanelli would be fit to get open then.
Played up now on the right side. Moore made that pass. Tries to sneak it through. Blocked by Jugovic, number 6 in blue for Juventus. In the 9th minute, it's scoreless. Ravanelli trying to dance his way through. He's brought down. No foul called. Welcome back to Italy. Down the left side. Juventus on the attack in blue. Boxic. And it's knocked out. And we're going to say it's Middlesbrough's ball. They thought they were going to get a corner out of it. Boxic was in the 1990 Yugoslavia World Cup team, but he did not play in that World Cup.
Well, the fella had a corner here. He's a good, strong player, and I mean, he's going to team up well with Jugovic. I mean, these are players who play the same type of football. Jugovic, of course, won a European Championship with 2 teams now, one of with Red Star Belgrade and also one with Juventus. And then, of course, you have 2 Frenchmen out there as well. You have Deschamps and you have Zidane. So, I mean, you have 2 and 2, good combinations that play different type football for you.
Up the wing, Ravanelli, number 11 in red for Middlesbrough. In and out. What a great matchup that was. Ferrara won that battle and the war.
Well, that's a battle that's gone on for a good many years. In training, I'm sure these 2 players very familiar with one another.
Ravanelli trying to go wide this time. Ferrara trying to close a bit. Crossed, well done. Off the right foot, though, a missed kick, but what a great cross, as it turns out, from Ravanelli.
Oh, Ravanelli, you can see the little step-over move. This time Ferrara loses the war. This time he wins it as he goes down. This was the previous play. You can see a little bit of pushing, and Ferrara gets up and takes the ball away. But then Ravanelli set the scoring opportunity up, and that's what he does. I mean, you just can't take your eyes off this man for 90 minutes.
At the halfway line, Jugovic avoided a tackle from Barmby. Pezzotto. Tackle away. Middlesbrough with Barmby coming back, helping out. Emerson. Number 6, he'll switch it. Number 3 is Bronco. He's played on 3 World Cup sides for Brazil. 86, 90, and 94. Bronco sends it across. A wider field might have been a help there, but that's it. That was intended for Neil Cox. Played long now by Juventus. Too long. Goalkeeper's there, Miller. Tossing it to Bronco.
Miller, not one of the most experienced goalkeepers in the world, only has about 80 games, and not all of them at the Premiership level. So this is a big test for him, JP. Getting a good look at him.
Parini and Zidane were playing with it. Straight up the middle. Long ball played. At the end of it, Boxic stops it. Boxic with a left-footed cross. Intercepted. Not really close.
Well, Boxic, of course, very well used to Italian type of football, playing with Lazio for a couple of years.
I'm going to call that on Deschamps, apparently. The 2 number 7s collided. Deschamps, a French international, played on that same Euro 96 squad that Zidane played for. Euro 96 stars Rui Costa, João Pinto, and David Seaman face off in a triangle match between Fiorentina, Benfica, and Arsenal. Don't miss the excitement of the Italian Football Summer Series tomorrow, right here on ESPN.
Well, there's a tradition in Italy that you play yourself into shape rather than go to training and open training camp and things like that, and certainly this is a good example of we've seen a couple of good games, and you can get very good games here because they're much opener than they are when there's a lot at stake.
Tomorrow we get the teams from Portugal, Italy, and England. Here's Juventus trying to sneak it through. Kept alive by Juventus, and that one's still rising. In the 13th minute. Way up and out of play.
Oh, Boxic certainly knows where the goal is. He has the ability to score goals. This one just rises way up over the top. I mean, it's not even close to the target.
Alan Boxic used to play with Marseille. 23 goals, led the French league back in '93. You're watching Italian football between Juventus and Middlesbrough from Cesena, Italy.
I think that probably is one of the greatest tragedies of all time. I mean, we talk about that Marseille team, JP. Who knows what would have happened had they been able to stay together, but for that gambling allegations or whatever. I mean, they had a tremendous team.
Well, next year they're back in the first division, so we'll see if they can't rebound. Ravanelli took a whack from number 5, Montero. He got the number.
Oh, Ravanelli checking him out.
Emerson on that restart. Now switched all the way across. Bronco. 9 was Derek White. Bronco back to Derek White. Here's Barmby. Right back. Tried to send it through. Chito Ferrara was there. Jugovic. And now a foul. Juventus are getting called for all of these. That's Zidane, number 8.
You can see the heat playing a tremendous toll on them here. Bronco there, I mean, they're really perspiring very heavily. Of course, that's 2 things, because of the heat and because of the fact that they're not fully fit yet.
Here's Bronco, a master at the free kicks. That one stung, and it's quickly whistled down.
He's going to have a chance to take it again. I'd say the player was too close to the ball.
Bronco again. 15th minute, no score. Here's Bronco bending it inside. Cleared out, for the moment anyway. Middlesbrough was looking to keep the pressure on. Instead, Pissotto sends it away. Middlesbrough in red back with the ball. Misto giving it up on the right side. Now wide. Looking for Alan Moore. Knocked out. Goal kick coming up. Still scoreless in the 16th minute. That's Ciro Ferrara. He was actually named to the Euro 96 squad, but was injured before it and was taken off the roster.
Well, he played most of his football with Naples. I mean, he's as strong and he's as tough as they come in Serie A. I mean, he's only with Juventus now 2 years.
And recently was recalled for the national team after playing for them before when he was with Napoli. Deschamps, bad pass. Middlesbrough will take it away. Ravanelli. Not a well-timed header. To the right side, Jugovic chased by Ravanelli. Jugovic pulls it back. 27-year-old midfielder. 5 is Montero. 7 is Deschamps. Didier Deschamps. A lot of touches now for Juventus. Montero. Long ball for Boxic. Shoots too long.
Montero, who's signing here, trying to show the manager that he can play. He squares that one into the box, and just a little bit too long for this man coming out. Boxic certainly, a lot of the load was going to fall on him in terms of scoring the goals that Ravanelli and Vialli would normally score at this level.
6'3", Alan Miller. Long clearance, given away. Moore is there battling number 10. Zidane took it away, knocks it to the right side. Long ball, very deep on the wing. Taken over by Middlesbrough. And Branco is upended by Del Piero.
Del Piero and Branco having quite a battle here. Italian guilty of the foul here. He's going to clap the legs around and take Branco down. There it is there. He just puts the leg in and referee right on the spot.
Del Piero looking on as that free kick was taken. Intended for Ravanelli. Branco with some good work. Ravanelli trying to split two and then brought down by Jugovic.
Ravanelli's not been treated with a whole lot of respect here by his whole teammates. It seems like every time he gets a touch on the ball, somebody's taking him down.
Well, remember they gave him the flowers early. That was the decoy. All the way towards Emerson. Oh, what a hit that was. Emerson played last year at Porto. He was actually a Brazilian. He spent the last few years in Portugal.
Well, they always compare him to Paul Ince, and certainly the style of play that he has. Good, powerful player. That's shoulder to shoulder. Emerson comes away with it. Casotto is the man who goes down. And the crowd don't like it, but I think it's a good call.
They didn't like that last tackle. At least Middlesbrough didn't like it. Straight ahead. Juventus in blue. Del Piero. Emerson marks him. They tried to flick on outside of the box. Zidane was tripped. Oh, play continues.
Oh, the referee saying he got all ball.
I think he got all ball and a lot of ankle. Derek White cleared it up.
Oh, White's an interesting story. A man who came from Glasgow Celtic, came up through the youth system at Glasgow Celtic.
This one goes out. Juventus ball. I was intended for Neil Cox.
Middlesbrough are having a problem here with the field. It seems a little bit too narrow for them. They're having a problem keeping the ball in play when they switch it from one wing to the opposite wing.
Juventus playing it long. And then it's cleared out. Middlesbrough with a pickup. It's Branco. Ravanelli. Back for Branco, who came from Internacional of Porto Alegre. That was his last club team, but he's also played everywhere. Corinthians was one team, Genoa and Brescia, Porto.
Kind of a soldier of fortune.
Middlesbrough versus Inter Milan, our next stop on Italian football, starting August 11th in Latin America. Check your local listing for the exact time in your area. We saw Inter Milan last week and some of the great stars that include Ivan Zamorano.
I believe Branco bought his own contract out from Inter Milan or from Porto Alegre to come to play for Middlesbrough.
And he did. Juventus working it. Vieri had blocked. Should be a corner.
Vieri worked his way inside of the box and pulled the trigger very quickly, but good coverage by the defenders.
Are they going to say it went off of him?
Now it's a corner.
Should be. No. They're going to say it last deflected off of him. Alan Miller will play it wide to the right. We're in the 22nd minute. First half, it is scoreless. Neither keeper has really had to make a big save yet. Montero. Intended for Vieri. Del Piero out of the box. Blocked. He can score from there and farther out. We've seen that.
Well, once again, you just see JP. He's just a little bit slow in pulling the trigger. Looked like he had the opportunity.
Bodies banging now. This is Deschamps. Middlesbrough takes over. Neil Cox. Emerson 6. Juventus had the jersey stretch almost beyond recognition. Well, originally, Emerson was guilty of the shirt pulling. He got away with it. The foul went the other way. Here's Bronco.
Emerson really very tough character at the back.
I'm wondering if there's not a card for that. Perini came in from behind. Should be against Moore. Perini should get a yellow, and he did.
Well, Alan Moore, a young man who came through the youth system here. You're going to see Perini come in from the back. This one could have been a red just as quickly. I mean, he takes him out from the back, and that's what they're prescribing now, that if you take a player out from the back, it should be a red card, and that was a good example of it there. Perini makes no attempt to play the ball.
And he's justifiably punished for it. From the halfway line, it's played up. Moore didn't get it back. Instead, it's Del Piero for Juventus. They're in blue. Attacking with Zidane. Del Piero got clipped. Play continues. Middlesbrough with it. Bronco number 3. Has that magnificent left foot.
I think they refer to it as a cultured left foot. You can see how compact the field is here, JP. Look at from the 18-yard line to the corner. There's only about 10 yards on each side of the field. It's very, very narrow.
And it can be very intimidating for players when a ball is played wide, when you see those advertising boards so close. There's really no space when you have a throw-in or a corner kick.
It's also very intimidating because the fans are sitting right on top of you. You always get that feeling you're going to run into somebody if you go over there. Ravanelli here with a battle. Comes away with it, but free was against them.
A lot of fouls early on. 17 total. A giveaway. Boxic has it blocked, and they'll clear it out over the touchline for a throw. Boxic looking, getting it. Boxic with a low cross. It skips by a couple of players. Neil Cox is there. Getting it by Deschamps. Zidane helping out. To no avail. Barmby, number 7. He wanted Ravanelli. It went out.
Oh, I think that was just a little bit of deceit on both players, because I thought that Cox was the man who was going to take the ball, and apparently Ravanelli felt the same thing, and then the chip came to him much too quickly. He had no time to react to it at all.
Sergio Perini, number 4. He's already got the 1 yellow card. Nice ball up for Boxic, and then intended for Del Piero, but it goes out. Del Piero spreading himself around the field a lot more, though, not playing in one position. We saw him down one wing, down the center of the field, and now that time looking for space on the right.
Well, the fact that Ravanelli and Vialli are gone, he's probably going to have a little bit more liberty to go wherever he wants to. I know Middlesbrough here are trying to get Emerson involved. I hear the coaching staff telling them you got to get the ball more across into the middle, because Emerson does like to push forward. He is a player like Ince who loves to push forward every chance he gets. So you can see all the Middlesbrough or the subs warming up here.
It's interesting they have that many warming up. The most famous sub that they have right now is Janaga Fjortok, who played for Norway in the 1994 World Cup. Right now he's on the bench.
We're going to see what happens here. Bronco doing a little bit of pulling and a little bit of acting as well by Del Piero. Comes away with the free.
He does well from this distance. We've seen him score from there, betting it right around that two-man wall and then in. Let's see what he does with this. He's going to try to pass it. It was blocked, but he doesn't think he got the 10 yards, and there's no way he did it. Arena is the referee. He knows what 10 yards is. Still not 10. Played in front, and Emerson heads it away. I think there was about a 7-yard wall both times. Ravanelli to Barnby. Into the middle. Deschamps is back there covering. Number 7 in blue for Juventus.
Well, Deschamps did well that time because Alan Moore had just gotten behind him, and Deschamps doesn't get to it. Alan Moore's off to the races.
Alessandro Del Piero going long. Caught by the goalkeeper Miller with Boxic on the doorstep. Vickers out of the back. Knocked away. All the way back to the keeper. 26-year-old Alan Miller, formerly with Arsenal. The game is still scoreless in the 27th minute. Zidane couldn't get it. Deschamps couldn't get it because Emerson knocked him down.
Well, Emerson doesn't take too many prisoners out there when he goes for it if you're in the way of tough.
Pesotto with a cross that was deflected out. Corner kick for Juventus. Gianluca Pesotto likes to attack on that left side.
He's not a dirty player as well. That's what's more frightening. He's not dirty.
Middlesbrough defense has done very well at covering back, and I mean, Zidane, they haven't been able to get him into the game at all. I don't think he's gotten many more than 2 or 3 touches on the ball.
Del Piero will take the corner. Sending it inside. Headed wide. Boxic got up. Good attempt there on that corner kick.
Well, you can see Ravanelli picking up somebody. He picked up Perini as he came back. Perini gave him the slip, and then the ball is knotted out.
Throw in from the opposite side, Juventus. Boxic with a strong header towards the middle, but Ravanelli got rid of it to Barnby. Middlesbrough in red with the ball. That's Alan Moore. Alan Moore, Dublin-born, plays it up. Wanted to get it back. Instead, it's kicked back to Emerson. Emerson kept it on the ground, intended for Ravanelli. Everybody back there for Juventus. Montero gave it up on the right side to Perini. To Ciro Ferraro.
You know, when you look at Middlesbrough at 10 years, 1986, they were broke. Their ground was closed. In fact, when they came back to play football, they had to play on a rugby ground. Now they're fit to spend $20 million in a couple of years. An incredible turnaround. Gary Palace, the man who probably started it all when he became the most expensive defender ever transferred. Manchester United bought him for £2.5 million, and Middlesbrough were really on their way in terms of buying players with a lot of money.
Well, the money spent indicates to their fans that they want to stay in the Premier League, and you would think they'd be rewarded by some great attendance this year.
Well, it looks like that. In fact, it looks like all their home games are going to be sold out. In fact, when Juninho arrived, he was greeted by 10,000 people. As you see, Emerson, that's what they were trying to do. I heard the coaching staff saying that they wanted to get Emerson to come forward more, and that's an example of it there.
Ravanelli heads it down. Bronco gets some more help from Ravanelli. Bronco dumps it to the corner, but there's no one even close.
Oh, that'll be a spot that the Silver Fox will own probably when the Premiership starts. He will be in and around that left-hand corner a lot of the time.
Jugovic plays it up. Zidane. Now on the wing.
You know what he needs? Juninho.
Vieri looking. Zidane breaking. Blocked. Knocked away all the way back. Tough tackle and an even tougher one. Gotta call that foul as Del Piero was clipped.
I'm sure as you heard there eavesdropping like the rest of us, the coaching staff said, you know what we need here? We need Juninho. Isn't that true? Everybody needs Juninho if you have him on a team. Look at Del Piero getting out.
Musto. Del Piero with a free kick in the 31st minute. From about 35 yards away.
Oh, he can put him away from here.
Here's the shot. Right at the keeper. I think Boxic may have gotten a touch to it. If he did, it didn't change the direction.
Oh, Del Piero loves to send them in from that side. We've seen some of those swerving into the top left-hand corner.
Still scoreless here in the 32nd minute. Italian football this summer season, and Ravanelli is offside.
Oh, here you're going to see the ball chipped inside, and let's see, does he get a touch on it? Just barely comes off the top of his head. Didn't change the direction. Might have got a little bit of grease there. If he had had grease in his hair to be on the ball, that's okay for him.
Here's the shot. And the keeper making credit for a save, but everything was going off the side of the net. Boxic again.
Oh, Boxic, the ball just squared into him. I don't think it was going to be on target. The keeper puts his hand down on it. The ball may have been out over the line when he gets it. Good shot by Boxic. Look at this. The keeper puts it out as a corner kick.
Played inside, and it was deflected wide. Marini going forward may have gotten a piece of that ball.
Perini switched over on the far side, and he just nobody running onto it. Distracted everybody, but didn't get the touch on the end of it.
Nail pass. 24-year-old defender on the throw-in. Juventus, though, finding some room all of a sudden against that Middlesbrough back line.
Yeah, certainly there were a couple of opportunities there to put the ball away.
Sent in by Juventus, but everybody is covered with a goal kick coming up. Still scoreless between Juventus and Middlesbrough. Watch SportsCenter International every day of the year for all the sports news you'll want to see from all around the world, only on ESPN. Alan Miller will put it back in play. 34th minute, scoreless game. Ravanelli. Nice tight shot of what it's like to go up for one of those against Jugovic. Ferrara. Nice move. Long ball played ahead, too long for Vieri.
Well, he does everything right except dispatch the ball properly in the end.
Montero was the man who played it through.
And from Uruguay, born in Montevideo.
This one goes out of play. It's Juventus ball. And you're right, the fans are close. There's a good photo opportunity.
I thought he was coming over to get an autograph, but he's just taking pictures.
Just a photo op.
He'll bring the picture the next day and get him to sign it.
Here's Ferrara.
See that, Mike?
All the way to the left side. Juventus over the halfway line with this ball. Del Piero blocked. No help that time. Bad giveaway that time, and Vieri sends it back. Jugovic, number 6, into the air for Del Piero. And this one goes out. Maybe even went off his hand originally.
Well, you can see Cox was appealing for the handball. I think Del Piero tries to steady the ball with his hand inside of the box. Let's watch. Ball squared across to Jugovic is the man who squares it across. What does Del Piero do? Well, it's not a handball, but it's very close.
Good try by Del Piero. A lot of eyes will be watching him this year.
Well, he certainly looks a lot more relaxed than he did in the end of the Champions League in Euro '96.
Coming back straight up the middle. Vieri, number 11. Waiting, pulls the trigger, score! Vieri!
I'm not sure if you're going to see what happened, but that ball came off the back of Alan Moore's heel. The pass was played into him. Vieri picks it up, and then he just slots it home. A mistake out of the midfield by the Irish international. The ball hit him on the heel, and look at that clinical finish. keeper has no chance, JP. That's a beautiful goal. Vieri certainly has shown that he's going to look for a spot on this team as well, wearing Ravanelli's old number. Scores like Ravanelli used to. The defender turns his back there. Vickers turns his back. You cannot do that.
Good left foot by Vieri, who scored 7 goals last year with Atalanta, 12 in '94 with Ravenna. 1-0 Juventus. Here's another chance. Saved out. Vieri! And the keeper came out. That ball was deflected. They're going to say it was a back pass. That's what they were appealing for.
Well, White is the man going back with it, and now his last touch. Well, there's the touch on the foot.
Yep.
He gets the touch on it, all right.
That's why I'd get away from Vieri. That was a good call by Vieri, not a good call by the referee.
Oh, Vieri certainly got himself into this game in a hurry. But it's amazing the little things that go wrong. The pass out in the midfield looked like nothing was happening. Alan Moore was looking the wrong way. The ball hits him on the heel. The next thing is in the back of the net.
Down the left side. Here's Juventus. I believe that last bench shot was of Padovano, one of several outstanding players that could come on at some point for Juventus. Played inside, headed right back to the goalkeeper.
Well, Padovano, of course, you remember in the Champions League scoring a brilliant goal. He'll certainly be looked upon to score. He likes to come forward. I mean,
they've got Delivio on the bench. They've got Tacchinardi. Other players in this roster, we're not sure who else may play today, but Torricelli, Bierkowod play on this team, Conte.
Torricelli played like a man possessed in the Champions League final. I mean, walked through a wall for you, it looked like.
Emerson's pass is deflected back, kept it on the far side. Middlesbrough looking for a tying goal. This one snuck through. Juventus, though, was finding some room. It seemed like it would only be a matter of time before they made that penetrating pass, which they did to Vieri. But the backs have come forward for Middlesbrough. They've left some holes.
Well, you can't expect that at this kind of a season, very early season. I mean, especially for the English teams. They really don't get down to any serious training until the next 2 weeks or so. So a lot of these players probably have only had a couple of run-outs already.
Nigel Pearson is number 5, marked up by Zidane.
Oh, Pearson was a good buy. He only cost $500,000. Did 176 games for Sheffield Wednesday. Started out with Shrewsbury Town.
Played out of the back by Middlesbrough. They were looking for Barmby. Juventus stopped that. Morini. Juventus lead 1-0 on Vieri's goal. That's the man, number 11. A rocket of a shot in the 36th minute.
This is kind of the play you're going to see from Juventus if you're watching Serie A all year. They get in front and then just try to hold on to possession of the ball.
Back away. Moore had the last touch on it. It stays in play. Here's Juventus with a 1-0 lead. To the corner for Del Piero, kicked away by Vickers.
Well, Vickers was the man who was badly at fault, turning his back on the shot coming, the one that ended up on the back of the net from Vieira. You do that, you give your keeper no help whatsoever.
Off the throw-in, players for both sides continue to warm up. Here's Boxic. Emerson blocked it right back to the keeper. Depending on injury time, we have just over 5 minutes remaining. We missed the first half. Vieri has the only goal in the 36th. Emerson. And this one goes out. Ciro Ferrara, a workhorse back there, 29-year-old. We're in the 41st minute. A 1-0 Juventus lead. Juventus in blue on the attack.
You see my lovely ball of Cox earlier, though? You see my ball of Cox earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Along on the far side. The whistle will stop play once more. Del Piero looking for room on that sideline.
And you can hear the coaching staff talking about Cox, number 2 player. Certainly having a good look at him today to make sure. No, this is what the coaching staff need. They need a good run out. I mean, you're playing against a team today that has a tremendous tradition. Juventus have won like almost 30% of all the Italian championships ever played. And you look at Middlesbrough, I mean, they spent a couple of years in Division 3, a couple of years in Division 2, a couple of years in Division 1, and now they're in the Premiership for the second time. So, I mean, it's really a great tradition they're going up against today, JP.
Emerson was brought down by Jugovic, and he had some help too.
Nice new stadium to play in, Riverside. That's Middlesbrough's home park.
Ravanelli was offside.
Oh, he keeps sneaking in there. The flag keeps going up.
Ravanelli playing with that Euro 96 squad for Italy. A disappointing team that went home earlier than they expected to.
And I think he was carrying a couple of injuries. He just didn't look right. He never showed us the kind of ability that he has. And of course, you talk about disappointments for the Italians. He also went home early from the Olympics. That was a big disappointment for them as well.
It was a new 7 million starter.
That drop pass from Zidane. Foul on Nigel Pearson. Del Piero wanted that quick restart. He also wanted it from about 3 yards closer.
Well, Del Piero is certainly very careful of putting the ball in the net from here. I mean, this is his garden spot. He loves to hit them from here. Watch that left-hand corner.
You just don't get anything around there. You just walk around the pitch. Got flashed up from him, which
Miller better have a good one.
You're going to get Martin stuff in England anyway.
That'll be a bigger surprise.
Yeah. And in the papers as well.
Right foot and shot! Save! Miller with a big save on that one. Right out the free kick.
Well, you can see Del Piero doesn't take it. He almost fools Miller because everybody probably thinking Del Piero would hit it to the left. This time it's hit to the right. Brilliant shot dropped in on top of him.
Yeah. Well, it's time.
Play is continuing. They're looking for a handball. 1 minute in this half. Martin is taken down.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing that.
44th minute. Juventus up by a goal. Vieri has it. Some creative work there by Moore. Moore marked up and stripped by Montero. Anderson just missed picking that up. Chiro Ferrara to the end.
He might have chickened out in case he found him.
Pretty rough for a preseason game. Some near misses and a lot of fouls.
Oh, a lot of fouls. I mean, that comes from a bit of mistiming too, you know. You just don't have your timing down perfectly, and you lunge at somebody, instead of getting the ball, you foul them.
Barnby was open that time and onside. They think this guy's going to be a future star.
Well, certainly Terry Venables had him penciled in as being a future star. They've been saying it for about 4 or 5 years about him now, and this could be a big year for him.
Vieri gives it across. Jugovic wide to the left. Pezzotto off the right-footed cross. Boxic has a way to run. Final minute of the first half, depending on injury time. Boxic looks around for help. Spots it. Top of the area, the shot for the game. Pezzotto, the shot. And Bettinelli, it's loose. Almost knocked in by Vickers. It would have been an own goal. A lot of panic there on the Middlesbrough side.
Well, Vickers not having the happiest of days here. Miscommunication with himself and the keeper. Keeper was down too early that time.
Back live, another cross. That one goes just wide. Juventus, not only with the lead, but with momentum here as the first half should be coming to an end. Derek White was going to play it in on the throw. Instead, it's Bronco. He'll go back to his keeper. We are in injury time by seconds.
kind of going like Santos, very fancy shorts out there to have the Borough written down on the leg of the short. I mean, you don't generally see that. Trying to make a fashion statement.
End of the first half, and it may end with a couple of aspirin for Bronco. He got nailed at the very end there. Better first half if you're a Juventus supporter. They had the only goal, and they had the momentum, Tommy, as the first half ended.
Oh, yeah, they certainly played the better.
We're getting ready for the second half. Kickoff between Juventus and Middlesbrough. Juventus leading 1-0 on the Vieri goal in the 36th minute. Here we go. Second half is officially underway. We'll see if there are any changes out there. Cox played it back. Middlesbrough in red, Juventus in blue. If you're just joining us, more. There's been one change that we've seen out there. Rampula is in goal. So Peruzzi only gets to play a half. And he was replaced by Michelangelo Rampula. We've got a player down. That's Boxic. He really struggled during Euro 96. He had the big bandage, and he had another injury as well. He had a head injury and other problems. Yellow card came out.
Rampula, of course, had played with Cremonese for a long time. One of the few Serie A keepers to score a goal. Scored a goal for Cremonese, but doesn't get a whole lot of playing time here.
We'll have to confirm that yellow card as Boxic is okay. The referee just took out the yellow card, so I presume he gave it to somebody. Rampula in, Peruzzi out.
Well, you can see things are getting a little bit ragged here. The referee will need to step in and make sure that, you know, this doesn't get any more physical than it is, JP.
Emerson with a block. Here's Porrini, number 4, setting it in. Deflected poorly right to Del Piero. Looked like he wanted to take a shot and was blocked. Pesotto, number 3. Pesotto fires off the crossbar. Unlucky is Gianluca Pesotto. If you had a radar gun on that shot, it would probably be about 70 miles an hour.
But he's doing what should have been done earlier. Look at this, he pulls the trigger on it. Bangs it, it comes off the crossbar. He's just a little bit unfortunate that it comes out outside of the line. There's a lot of backspin on the ball. That's why it comes down that way. Just the angle it hit.
Slow motion didn't do that shot justice. That shot was there in a split second.
But you could see earlier, Del Piero had the opportunity. He had the opportunity to pull the trigger, and he's a little bit slow in doing it. But you can see his confidence has gone just the tiniest little bit.
Pesotto is the player that was given the yellow when the referee took the card out of the pocket. So that's 2 yellows. Porrini has the other for Juventus. Middlesbrough in red, Juventus in blue. If you're just tuning in, it's a 1-0 lead for Juventus. Vieri's goal in the 36th minute off his left foot. This one was last touched, I thought, by Ferrara. Ravanelli was there. Corner kick.
Middlesbrough haven't shown a lot of offense in this game. One of the few opportunities where they've had a chance to put a bit of pressure on the keeper here.
Olivia with his back to us. Maybe getting ready to come on.
Well, he's the man who has become a super sub with Juventus. Super sub, I mean, he can get a start on the Italian team, and he can't get a start on the Juventus team.
Off the corner for Middlesbrough. They haven't had many of these. Here's the shot blocked. Coming back out toward Moore and taken away. In fact, I believe that's their first corner. Maybe second. Here's Emerson. Good move. Emerson in the box. Won on that battle by Montero.
Well, Emerson is going to add a complete different dimension to this team now that they've gotten him here.
Moore played it in for Ravanelli, and it's wide on Rampula.
And that's another combination that's going to be worked on very well during the year, is Moore and Ravanelli. You can see they're trying to work on understanding as it is.
Juventus will push it forward, looking for Vieri. Middlesbrough is claiming it was a handball. Boxic. They're going to let play go on.
I'm not sure why.
He didn't call advantage because he was going the other way. Here's Pesotto.
Called advantage to Middlesbrough.
The shot. Played it inside, and Bachridge, before he can get the shot away, it's cleared away.
Let's see this situation inside. Was it a handball? Well, not really.
No, I think he tried to play with his hand and missed.
Just kicked on the head. There's been a couple of very errant foots here today. I mean, Branco got one just before half-time. Now Bosic is one as well, just on the forehead.
Juventus. And this one goes out. Pesotto will toss it in. Used to play with Bologna, Verona, and Torino, trying to make a home now with Juventus. Montero. Give and go didn't work. Possession still maintained by Juventus. Pesotto gave it up. Del Piero slides it. He'll get it back. Looking. Shooting. Stop him. It goes in. Juventus has scored. I thought the keeper had it. Miller should have. 2-0.
Well, in baseball terms, they say it took a wicked hop. It takes a wicked hop here as the keeper comes out to it. Watch Del Piero set it up. Watch the way of the bend on it. Look at that. Bends right by the keeper. The keeper thought he had it covered, but instead there's a bulge in the Olonian bag. Del Piero, that's what he needed. Keeper thought he had it to come up on top of him. Should have had it. When you see the way he pulls it back. Watch the way he pulls this back on his foot, and then he lines it up. Keeper set himself up. He said he's not the most experienced keeper in the world. Should have gotten down on this one. Lets the ball in behind him. That's a very simple goal.
Miller appeared to get down too early, and then when it short hopped him, he was already down and committed. 2-0. Juventus. Here's Middlesbrough. The flag is up, apparently. Close call. Del Piero is the man that scored the goal. Shot, a lot of confidence.
That's what we talked about. That's what he needs, JP. He needs a couple of goals like that, because you could see he had a couple of chances earlier in the game, and he just didn't get the shot off quick enough. Now that he's got the touch again for it, that could be the one that will set him straight again.
Juventus leads 2-0. 52nd minute is where we're at.
Remember last year we were covering pre-season, and Del Piero was having the same kind of problems, and he scored one on the left-hand side. Can't remember what team he scored it against, but it was a brilliant goal, and it just set him straight again. That's what the young man needs.
Chito Ferrara, number 2, over the halfway line, and that pass completed to Polini. Blocked by Emerson. And a foul is called on Juventus.
Well, that's what they're playing for. Nice piece of silverware.
Middlesbrough looking. And this one goes on to play. Padovano warming up right now for Juventus. The Italian wave.
Oh, they really have it going very well. Noisy as well.
Doesn't sound like an exhibition crowd.
Well, this is it's the vacation season in Italy. A lot of people doing a lot of moving around. Get a lot of tourists to attend these games. Good opportunity to see a lot of good players. Oh, a little bit of a tough push down on the line.
Trump and Nigel Pearson. Who says it's exhibition?
Well, it's certainly not friendly anyhow. I'm not sure about the exhibition part.
Pesotto on the throw-in. Del Piero trying to play it through. Bacher chasing it. Miller clears. Over the shoulder of Chito Ferrara. Right back to the keeper. Rampula. Michelangelo Rampula came on to replace Angelo Pellicci at halftime.
Well, I'm sure the way things have gone, the Middlesbrough manager wishes that he had taken on Gary Walsh at halftime as well, because that was a very simple goal that was let up. Gary Walsh, of course, the sub-goalkeeper here, came to Middlesbrough for Manchester United.
Vieri. One of several summer transfers picked up by this club. One guy that's been almost invisible today has been this man, Zidane, with the ball, number 8. Emerson. And Zidane got a touch to him. Foul on Juventus. side, Neil Cox. Nigel Pearson chased back by Boxic. And a foul. Emerson coming back against Juventus.
Now we see if Del Piero takes this one out. Didn't take the one earlier in the first half.
Deschamps is over the ball. Jugovic is there, number 6. Del Piero, number 10. We'll see who takes it.
Well, the coach is probably saying, I know what Del Piero can do with it. Let me see what some of these other guys can do, so he's giving them the opportunity.
And it's blocked. Regardless, here's Deschamps. Way outside is Boxic. Miller playing it back. Now to the left sideline. Mustel giving it up. And Ravanelli on that touch. Linesman's flag up again.
Oh, that's a very close call this time. Ravanelli looked like he might have been onside.
Here's Middlesbrough. He's onside now. Ravanelli saved by Rapula. Big save by Rapula. That could have been and probably should have been a goal. It was well done all the way.
Oh, a nice ball from Barmby just inside to Ravanelli. He gives it the toe poke. Doesn't get all of it. Aiming for the right-hand post. Rapula takes it away from him. First good opportunity he's had.
Back the other way. Here's Juventus.
He's got such deep eye sockets. Yeah.
Boxic.
It's impossible to shoot.
Playing it inside. Oh, that was cheeky from Vieri. He was trying to backheel it through to Boxic. Here's Barmby.
Number 11.
Ravanelli going the opposite way on that.
What's the keeper doing out here?
No idea. Wide to the right side. Here's Juventus. Del Piero giving it up. Juventus inching forward. It's Jugovic. Back for Del Piero. Holding. Finds some help. Deschamps pressured this way. Deschamps did a good job to stay with that. Montero, number 5, to number 2, Ferrara. Juventus is a very solid club at that ball possession game, even though they've made quite a few changes from last year.
You should ask, I was thinking to ask him
Well,
that.
you know, that's the way, you know, you can dominate Serie A by holding on to the ball. I mean, Milan does it so well. If you're going to be successful in Serie A, when you score, you have to be fit to hold on to the ball. Not really playing giveaway or takeaway. It's just playing a good possession game. And Juventus are putting on a clinic right now.
Soto gave it up. Vieri. Now it's taken. Oh, Zidane with a bad pass.
Mighty Kusic there. But it looked so good up until that. Zidane just doesn't look comfortable at all, JP. He hasn't found a spot in this system yet at all.
Zidane, you think?
Yes, sir.
He's continuing his look of uncomfort from that Euro 96 performance. France did better than he did. Here's Ravanelli. Busted up.
Just a good question on France. Will they bring Cantona back now for the World Cup? I mean, we know they're qualified, but I think there'll be a lot of pressure on the coach to do so.
Ball is played through, and this is Miller's. You're watching Italian football here on ESPN, the Summer Series from Medici Stadium in Cesena, Italy. Juventus and Middlesbrough battling. It's been all Juventus. There are your goal scorers, Vieri and Del Piero. One in each half for the 2-0 lead. Along with Tommy Smith, I'm John Paul Della Camera. Hope you're enjoying this one. Tomorrow we'll have that triangular series coming up as our Italian football series continues.
Arsenal will be hoping to do an awful lot better than the two English clubs have done so far. Manchester United walloped last week, and now Middlesbrough getting beaten 2-0 at this stage today.
Boxic sends it too long. And it's pulled out of play. Branco may have given Manchiro Ferrara a mouthful, if you know what I mean.
Coming out worse than that one.
Yeah. He got the face washed. Yellow cards for each. Why did Del Piero get one? For receiving it?
There was one earlier in the game.
Not much he could have done about that. I guess maybe for the in-your-face deal with Bronco.
There was one in the first half.
Oh, the two players are still not satisfied.
They're not speaking the same language, but the hand gestures, they're probably understanding one another. One we're presuming speaks Italian, the other Portuguese. Here is Emerson coming back. Yellow cards to each player. Still a 2-0 lead for Juventus. Emerson. Down the right sideline. Yale Cox finds Emerson behind the bench. Looking. Sitting it across. Poorly touched by Musto. His only chance today. I think when Middlesbrough's coach Brian Robson looked up, he was hoping Ravanelli would be at the end of this.
Oh, what a great opportunity. A beautiful ball split right on the exact place by Emerson. Pulls it back from the byline. Just can't finish it off. Ravanelli was the man you'd want in there. Or Juninho running onto that one.
World Cup 94 stars will be in action when Major League Soccer returns to ESPN. Alexi Lalas for the New England Revolution and Mike Burns, Kobe Jones for the LA Galaxy, and the Galaxy, of course, have the great and colorful Jorge Campos. Tune in on Major League Soccer coverage all season on ESPN. Straight ahead is Deschamps. Oh, I'm sorry, Juventus. All the way out. Intended for boxing.
My name's Alan Miller.
Saw Marcelo Luppi on the sidelines. Looks like Juventus may be getting ready to bring on a couple of fresh faces.
Try to see too if Juventus or if Middlesbrough may be taking off the keeper. Bronco really getting a good one over, and rightly so, because that's a very classless act what he did on Del Piero.
Delivio and Padovano are the two guys getting ready to check in. Neil Cox, number 2 for Middlesbrough. Headed down by Musto, he's open! And he couldn't get the feet untangled.
Well, to say that he is awkward
they don't play in the Premier League.
would be kind. I mean, he had all kinds of opportunities there. He just couldn't find the ball inside of the box.
Neil Cox giving it up. Played inside, and it's right to the keeper. Here's Juventus attacking with numbers in the 63rd minute. Boxic was open, and that ball not been deflected. Bronco. Picked off. Zidane got a piece. And now it's Del Piero. Amoruso is also warming up, we're told. Amoruso and Delivio Padovano was warming up before. 18 is Amoruso, 16 is Delivio. Zidane is coming out. That's not a surprise. He has been invisible today. Remember, he had that automobile accident right before Euro 96, and he's never seemed to recover completely from that. We don't know if there's any connection at all, but right around that time was when he started to play poorly.
Well, he certainly hasn't struck form. I mean, if you go back to some of the games previous to that, where he had played so very well, he just seems to have lost his confidence.
Zidane played 4 years with Bordeaux and did very well for them, and also for France until Euro 96.
Well, we saw Bordeaux and what the UEFA Cup. I mean, they had such a great run this year, and Zidane was one of the people responsible for it, but he hasn't lived up to it here.
Here is the other player that is leaving. He's already scored the 1 goal. So 2 in, 2 out. Delivio and Amoruso are in. Played across and it's blocked. Watch what Delivio can do. Coming off the bench as a starter with those fresh legs, and he likes to go up the sideline. There he is on the throw-in. Angelo Delivio.
He loves that right-hand side. He loves to square the ball across. He holds onto the ball so well.
Ferrara's pass. He'll take it back, the number 2 player for Juventus. Ravanelli coming deep to receive it because he's not getting the service, so he may be dropping back further. He's dropping completely there. Pesotto brought him down, no foul call.
The referee said Pesotto came away with all ball, and Ravanelli Well, he has been known to do a little bit of diving in his time.
Some holding going on there.
Vickers was the man who was guilty. Boxic is the man who was trying to break himself free.
We're in the 66th minute. Short free kick. Juventus from Del Piero.
That's a little bit bad.
What time is the tournament?
All the way across. Far line. A race for the ball. Bolivia. That's more than shoulder to shoulder. Just sent Bronco down.
Bolivia is kind of letting them know that you're not dealing with Del Piero now. You can see that look.
Yeah, there was a message there.
Oh, yes.
Bronco puts it back into play. Ravanelli's not been getting the service today. Got to give some credit to Juventus, but when you put Juninho right there in that midfield area, you'll see a lot of great passes coming through. When you add Juninho to Emerson, if they can get a chemistry going, look out.
Yeah, it looks promising for Middlesbrough. I mean, with the way Moore's playing, and if he strikes up a good partnership with Ravanelli, and then you have Emerson and Juninho on the opposite side.
Played inside to Ravanelli. He couldn't get it. Neil Cox can. Here's Emerson. Cox will play it through. That's a late whistle, but I think it is your foul.
Oh yeah, Cox is coming through, and the defender's not going to make any attempt to play the ball at all. He just takes the player out of it. Ravanelli have a go from here. At left foot.
Ravanelli is there with Emerson.
Bronco, maybe? No, he's not going to come up at all.
It's Ravanelli's turn. Smacked it off the wall. Lifted back inside. Whoa, way offside.
Ravanelli's been guilty of being offside. That's at least a half a dozen times today.
Down the left wing. Mauricio put on the brakes, and then Emerson pushed him.
Oh, Emerson put a hand in his face.
Deschamps.
Not
Going wide
either,
right.
is he, Emerson?
Everybody going forward. Here's Delivio.
Yeah.
Knocked down to the corner.
Well, Emerson is really proving to be a handful out there today.
Emerson must be thinking a lot what I thought there. What have I done with Ravanelli?
Delivio is the man here, you see. Look at it, here's Emerson. He gets the hand in the face first. That's Amoruso, and then
He's trying to play.
tough play in by Emerson.
Back live. It's cleared out of the box by Middlesbrough. There's shot. On the foot from Del Piero.
Playing deeper. This is that Gilsa from.
All the way back to the halfway line.
Might make a difference.
Morini. Or make it Montero. Montero couldn't get to that one. Middlesbrough will take it. 21-year-old Moore sends it long. Ravanelli checks it down. 1v1, but then 1-on-2. Gave it back into the middle for Cox. He gave it away.
Cox should have had a shot, JP. Beautiful pass from Moore to Ravanelli. Look at this one.
Box 6 breaks through the defense. Nothing left at the end, and they shot it high and wide. But how's that for the counter? How quickly Juventus came back.
Oh, he's a great opportunity here. This should be his first goal. That first touch is so beautiful, but the execution at the end just wasn't there. So many players, it's the first touch that lets you down. In this case, Boxic, it was the last touch that let him down.
Musto takes it. On that last play, too, Barmby was open, and Cox couldn't get it through. Here's Neil Cox down the right sideline. Rampula. Oh, nice ball. Pezzotto. A long run. Amoruso was chasing it. Back to the keeper. And now Middlesbrough will take it away.
I've always wanted to be on TV.
Foul is going to be called Juventus. also who came on as one of the summer transfers. He came from Padua. We're going to see a change. Bronco is going to leave. Curtis Fleming will come on for Bronco. There's the change, and Curtis Fleming will check into the lineup as Bronco leaves. Curtis Fleming, born in Manchester, over 100 league games played. Good idea. He had a player wide open to the left. It was Boxic, but he couldn't hit him.
Well, I think Bronco was taken off because I think the manager got the impression, too, that perhaps some of the Juventus players not so happy with the actions of Bronco and probably afraid that somebody might take the law into their own hands. And you don't want to lose a man like that in a situation like this.
Coming up the Dutch Super Cup on August the 18th, Ajax, a newer look Ajax team against PSV. We hope you'll join us for the action of that Dutch Super Cup here on ESPN. Another Dutch season, by the way, coming your way soon, ESPN.
Speaking about newer looks, we'll get a good look at Amsterdam Arena. Ajax hoping to win their first trophy, which will be the first of many in that new stadium for them.
At the other end, a chance and a miss. Looked like Moore had jettisoned through.
Now Middlesbrough starting to look a little bit more dangerous. Barnley with the shot inside. Moore coming racing through. Just can't get that first touch on to get it down.
It's really been all Juventus today. Give Middlesbrough some credit here towards the maybe 65th minute or so, pushing more offense into their game. But up until then, nothing really. No shots in the first half. They've only had a couple of corners or so.
Well, I think Middlesbrough will go away happy with this. I mean, you are playing the team that won the European Championship, and you are a team that finished 12th in the Premiership. So, I mean, the odds would have to be against you winning in a situation like this. So, this is a pretty good performance by Middlesbrough.
Moore sends it long. And it's taken. Oh, that hooligan hit. Moore will not be a popular player with Juventus. And here's where the referee better get in a hurry.
Well, I think that's exactly why Bronco was taken off, because there's a lot of this going on. You're right in on top of him.
Sometimes they're incidental or accidental. Sometimes they can be avoided. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he stuck his leg out.
Oh, he stuck his leg out. There's no question about it. He gets a yellow card for that.
He should have. Couldn't see it live, but in the replay, stuck that left foot out when it was clear that nothing else could have happened. So Moore gets the yellow. First one on his side. Borini and Pasotto have one at the other end. Or second one now, I should say, on his side, because Bronco was given one before, as was Del Piero at the same time. So it's 3 yellow cards by my count for Juventus. 1 or 2 rather. Moore and Bronco on the opposite side from Middlesbrough. We're in the 74th minute. Juventus leads 2-0. Vieri and Del Piero are your goal scorers. Curtis Fleming, his first touch, not enough on it. Ferrara swept it away.
Another Irish international, Curtis Fleming, started out with St. Patrick's Athletic, following the same route exactly as Paul McGrath.
A chance at the other end. Amoruso. One and a penalty. Vickers got a piece of him. But the referee wants no part of that call.
Well, a little push inside of the box. Watch and see what way it goes. There you can see the player taken down. That should be a penalty. But the referee said no.
Padovano loosening up on the sidelines, as is Tacchinardi. 75th minute, 2-0, Juventus. From Cesena. Stadio Munizzi. Oh, a high foot there. Emerson will have the marks to prove it. are your players. Tacchinardi 14, Padovano 19. Good players, starters in their own right. Not today. They can start. Boxic is apparently leaving. And we need one more. Boxic replaced by Padovano. And Tacchinardi is getting ready to come on. And now he does. Middlesbrough with it. Just about 15 minutes left in this game. Barmby knocked down just outside of the box.
Oh, Barmby makes one of those patented moves that he does so well. Padovano getting into the action very early here. Look at him, he just cuts in between them, taken down just outside of the box. Almost a penalty kick as he getting another step on the ball. Still sets up a good opportunity.
Marcelo Lippi, head coach of Juventus. Last year won the European Cup. The year before, the double in Italy.
What is he going to do for an end call?
Emerson. And now Ravanelli. He strikes it. Saved by Rampula.
Oh, it's a little daisy cutter from Ravanelli. Gets it through the wall, but the keeper's very alert. This is a good shot. He gets a good rifle on it, takes that short hop, and Rampula covers it up nicely.
77th minute. Juventus lead 2-0 over Middlesbrough.
Looks like Jugovic has gone off also.
So those are your players out. Tacchinardi and Padovano join in. With Padovano and Delivio out there together, you might even see more ball movement and creativity from this Juventus side, even though they don't need anything else to win this game. They've got a pretty comfortable, or very comfortable, 2-0 lead right now.
Well, you look at teams like Padovano, you know, and I mean, you say, why are they down where they are? And you look around the field and you find now Juventus with two Padovano players out there, Del Piero and Amoruso.
Ravanelli couldn't get by. Good read by Rampula to spot that one.
Rampula quickly off his line. Of course, he's very well aware. He knows exactly what Ravanelli will do.
Here in the second half, Ravanelli has not been as guilty of the many offside violations, but they're also clearly looking more for him, and he's looking more himself for the ball.
That time when he went up for the ball, he was helped along the way by the Juventus players, so the referee has given a free in just outside of the box. Another opportunity for Ravanelli, maybe.
While a 2-0 lead appears to be pretty safe right now, if Middlesbrough can score one, they can really change the complexion of this.
Well, every manager will tell you the worst lead in soccer is the 2-0 lead. Although I'd rather have it than to be two behind.
Four-man wall set up now by Juventus. Emerson and Ravanelli. Last time this Ravanelli took it. This time someone else. Fleming, saved by Rampula. Well disguised on that free kick. Well taken. And a big-time save for Rampula. This guy came in cold at halftime, and he's made 3 big-time saves.
Curtis Fleming sets himself up on the far side of the box, gets a nice throw for the ball. Look at that, aiming for the far corner. Nice save by the keeper.
That's twice he's made big plays on grass cutters. One to his right, and that one to his left. Barmby into the middle. And that time a head was gotten to it, but it went wide.
Alan Muir and Emerson were in there together, I believe. Emerson, I think, does a little bit of pushing. Vickers was the man who eventually put it around the post.
Goal kick coming up for Rampula.
Not too often you see 2 or 3 Middlesbrough players open in the box during this game.
Minute, 2-0 Juventus. It's going to go the other way. I know it's early. Preseason, our first look at Juventus, but they're still going to be a very solid team, and I think Boxic and Vieri will work in well with them. Here's Ravanelli, and the flag went up.
Oh, that was a terrible call. Ravanelli was onside when the ball was hit.
I'm wondering about the other player to his right. Fluminense Lecce versus Bragantino as Brazilian football continues another season on ESPN. Check your local listing for the exact time in your area. Del Piero coming to the sideline. Giuliano will check in. The number 13 player, Mark Giuliano. What are your thoughts on Juventus?
Oh, Juventus look very, very strong. I mean, I know they've lost a couple of very good players, but as you pointed out, they have replaced them with quality players as well. I mean, they haven't, I know, you know, it is pre-season, but they haven't lost a step, JP. If anything, they look a little bit more dominant than they did last year, holding on to the ball.
Great goalkeeping, solid at the back, a lot of depth. And Del Piero, perhaps in a more structured role. I think last year, even though he played well at times, he may have suffered with all the pressure. He'll have more pressure perhaps this year, but I think a more defined role.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the onus will fall on him this year to provide the leadership because he's becoming a veteran here at this club. And it's going to take a lot of the pressure off him in a sense, because when you look at Juventus, they were always playing 3 men up front. They had Ravanelli, Vialli, and Del Piero, and you always kind of felt like perhaps they needed 2 balls. But now in this situation, they don't. I mean, Del Piero is going to definitely be the front runner. It'll just be a question of who's with him.
Here's Cox with Ravanelli, played it across, kept in. Moore's shot was blocked. He thought he had a goal coming. 82nd minute, 2-0 Juventus. Vieri and Del Piero are your goal scorers. They're both on the bench now, having been replaced. I guess some fans are content that this game is over.
Well, I guess maybe she's a Del Piero fan and she left once he got off. But to me, he definitely looked much better today than he did in the Champions League, JP. And, you know, we talk about players maturing. This is the year that Del Piero is going to have to mature. I mean, we've heard all the great things that he's going to do. This is the year that he's going to have to do them.
Rapula has played well in the second half. Actually, he's been busier than Peruzzi was in the first half. In fact, Peruzzi may not have had to take a shower. He was not busy at all in the first 45 minutes. No shots going his way. Padovano was held up there, and the foul is going against Middlesbrough. This guy's a good player, and he's a very underrated player, whether he starts or comes off the bench. On the left side, Middlesbrough. In red on the attack, looking for their first goal. Emerson, number 6. Setting it the other way. Ball possession to Juventus.
And on the opposite side of the coin, you know, like I kind of felt earlier, I think this is a good display by Middlesbrough. They may be beaten 2-0. They haven't created all that amount of opportunities. But when you're going up against the European champions, you know, it's a big task for them.
I'm a bit concerned with Miller in goal, based on what I've seen today.
Well, that would concern me too, and I'm not sure that he will be in goal when the season starts. They're probably just having a good look at him now.
I've not seen him play, except for today. I've not seen Gary Walsh play.
Gary Walsh is a much more competent keeper on any of the games I've seen him play. In comparison to what I've seen of Miller, Miller just doesn't look right in there.
Yeah, you can't judge in one game. Or you shouldn't, I should say. At the halfway line, Middlesbrough. Barnby, formerly with Tottenham Hotspur. Wide left for Fleming, who came out only minutes ago and almost scored off of a free kick ball played across, squared by Emerson. Here's Moore to Fleming, finding a little space, puts it back on the right foot for the cross. Ravanelli is there, ran into his own teammate. Down the right sideline, Musto. Bobby Musto, formerly with Oxford United, it goes out. Montero is there.
Well, when you just look at Miller, I mean, he's had 6 games with Arsenal, 13 games with Plymouth, 3 games with West Brom, and 15 with Birmingham City. Not a whole lot of experience, JP.
Barnby sends it across. Headed down, and a score! Middlesbrough on the board.
gets himself up into the box and he gets a good header on it. Watch him pick the ball out on the far side. Good, powerful header. Keeper gets a hand to it, can't keep it out of the net. Tremendous set-piece play. Very well executed, very well worked. Ravanelli's inside if there is a rebound or anything, but Pearson puts it away. A good, powerful header directed wide of the keeper. Gets way up over the defender. Rampula gets down to it, but the ball is in the back of the net.
Nigel Pearson beat 2 players in the air. Pearson listed at 6'1", very solid, stocky player. Put that one through with a lot of power. So it's a 2-1 game now. But is there enough time for Middlesbrough to get more chances on Rampula, who has looked sharp in the second half?
Well, it certainly looks like a much more respectable score now for Middlesbrough, even if they don't manage to tie it up.
On the far side, here's Middlesbrough again. Fleming lays it off. Emerson with a strike to the right corner. Is there room? No, not enough for Cox. Throw in for Juventus. Padamano. And Tagliardi are back. And some more pushing going on. That's Pearson. Padamano and Emerson. We've already seen 5 yellow cards today. Perhaps no more. Here's what started it.
Well, you can see what started it. He goes down underneath him and then he kicks him when he comes up. I mean, that's the most dangerous tackle in football. You go in underneath somebody like that, you break their back when they fall on the ground. Most players take serious exception to you coming in underneath them like that. And Pearson does, and then he kicked him on the ground, so it almost erupted into a brawl.
Another substitution coming up. Trotta for Porini. Porini had the 1 yellow card, played well. So Trotta will check in. Goal kick coming up. Rampula. A 2-1 game. Juventus over Middlesbrough. Pearson's goal in the 86th minute. Foul over the back. Quick restart for Juventus. Brought down on the deflection, but Amoruso couldn't find the rest of it. Played long the other way. Musto chasing it. Montero is there to win it. At the last moment, looked like he was going to give up a corner, so he cleared it over the touchline for the throw.
Well, Montero's had a very, very sound game back there today.
Musto to Neil Cox. Ravanelli shaking free from one defender, trying to play it across. It was blocked on the face of Montero.
Ravanelli trying to set up the tying goal here. Almost has the opportunity.
Juventus leading 2-1 with time running out. Played from the corner. Settled. Where's the shot? It's still rising. A chance to tie the game. Goes by the boards.
Oh, Middlesbrough certainly with a good opportunity. The ball is punched out by Rampula. Not a good save. He's out of position then. The shot way up over the top. Juventus lucky there.
We're in the closing minute with Juventus leading Middlesbrough 2-1. Both goal scorers are out of the game for Juventus, Vieri and Del Piero. Pearson just scored in the 86th. Remains on. Vickers over there battling. More whistles. Amoruso was the player taken down. Played through and then cleared for the moment by Middlesbrough. A little dangerous to play it that way back there. Time running out. We we are right now into injury time by seconds. Juventus leading 2-1. Fleming switching it all the way to the right side. The referee has glanced at the watch and coming right at you. Nice camera shot. That was Neil Cox. Oh, Passanto got nailed. How is it Barnby's ball? That's right into your living room.
He put his hand up to make sure he didn't break any of your deal for your television.
Half a minute plus into injury time. Emerson. His side needs 1 goal to tie. Tackle away. Chiro Ferrara. Oh. Blow the whistle now before somebody gets hurt. That was Tacchinardi. Here's DiLivio. Patrolling the wing. Fleming defending. Angelo DiLivio holding. Still with it on the dribble. On the cross. Oh, he had Padovano open. Struck hard. Right at the keeper. Miller saw that one all the way. Ravanelli.
Oh, this referee's really playing with fire, isn't he?
Almost a minute and a half into injury time. Trying to remember where it's coming from. Amoruso giving it up. A bending ball, nobody near it. That's it. Juventus has won the game and the trophy over Middlesbrough. Final score is 2-1. Vieri scores in the 36th. Del Piero got one in the second half in the 51st. Well, what happened to the 3 whistles?
They were in the stand.
3 whistles. That's interesting. Well, now I'm even more confused where the injury time is. So we'll hold off on Juventus. Okay, here we go. Now it's finally over. 2-1. Now we can do it. Vieri and Del Piero were your goal scorers in this one. Pearson had one at the other end. A well-deserved victory, though, Tommy, for Juventus.